Hi, my name is Will Mydock, and this is my lesson 4 discussion post for MAN3301-3. The two prompts today are: do you agree that stable jobs don't exist in today's workplace, and that as a result, we shouldn't worry about job analysis? Why or why not? And then discussion topic number 2 is: how much overtime is reasonable in a week? How long can the company expect workers to continue to work overtime before they see employee stress levels getting significantly higher than normal? Now, I do think both of these are really timely and important questions. And I don't completely agree with some of the stigma with um, jobs not existing. I think that um, a part of the market is that jobs will be lost and created. There will be change. But I don't believe that it's that jobs no longer exist. However, the pay gap might be the biggest issue. So there are jobs, just not necessarily jobs that people might not want. I think it is true that today's workplace is changing a lot. And so that would definitely be a factor in this question. I think technology and um, innovation are making the jobs that are available a lot different, and that's kind of part of the stress that people are facing in today's marketplace. Um, I do think that employees are often expected to learn new skills to keep their current jobs, and employers hiring for new roles have higher expectations in some scenarios. And so there is a adaptability that is required for certain careers and for certain jobs that people are looking for. I think that it's important for people to be aware of the different jobs and also be aware that in order to adapt, you're going to have to analyze. So, job analysis, both by the employee and by the employer, is going to be really important. I think it's really important for both keeping up with your current workload, but also for making sure that your current employees are doing well, and also for hiring, training, and evaluating um, employees when and as they're new and as they are tenured. And in my opinion, I think there are lots of stable jobs in many industries, but these are going to be changing and very volatile over the next few years with the fast changing in technology, or the fast changes in technology. Now, for question number 2, how much overtime is reasonable and when does it become a problem? I think I have pretty good insight on this because I've worked a lot of overtime in the past several years. And specifically last year, I worked, you know, hundreds of hours of overtime. And I think that it is completely up to the employee. Employees at different stages of life and stress levels will have different levels that are a reasonable amount. Now, I think that companies and the requirements that they have for overtime vary, but I think that it should be, you know, varied by the employee, but also something that maybe employees can choose of their own volition and not necessarily be required. That's why it's called overtime, is it's kind of over your standard time that's required. And I think it can slowly become a problem depending on people's situations, and it can cause burnout and also, lower employee morale. But if you keep it where it's of the employee's own volition, I think it actually raises morale. Personally, as a younger employee, I love the opportunity to make overtime. One, because I get more work done for me and my team and our goals, but also you get paid more typically. Even if you don't get paid more per hour with time and a half, you are still making more money than you typically would with your 40-hour work week, or whatever your typical work week looks like. And I think good managers will monitor this, keep a good pulse. I think my manager currently has done an amazing job of always asking me for a pulse of where I'm at with time and overtime and my capacity. And I think that is a key factor in helping employees um, be aware of their own pulse, but also to have the employer be aware of the pulse of the employees so that they can make sure that the goals of the company are going to be met.